Welcome to Life on Mars, a podcast about technology, entrepreneurship, and innovation. You will listen to stories of the best founders, inventors, experts, and celebrities from all around the galaxy.
Hey everyone, it's Alex, CEO of MarsBased. For this episode, we're going to remember one of our very first technical events, the Martian Tech Talks, in which we interviewed Eduardo Manchón, CEO and founder of Mailtraq. Mailtraq, an email tracking company from Barcelona, was initially founded by Nacho González Barros, founder of InfoJobs, Neurona, and Niumba, among other companies. In this episode, we're going to be talking about growth hacking, app store optimization, bootstrapping a company, and other topics. Although this conversation happened 2 years ago, the content is still very relevant. Today, Mailtraq is one of the most renowned Barcelona-based startups. Their numbers are way higher than what Eduardo mentions in this episode, so to give you a little bit of context, we thought it would be a great idea to recover this interview before we host him again on the podcast. So, enjoy this episode. For this first edition, we are very honored to have Eduardo as our guest. Eduardo, back in the day, he studied human-computer interaction, psychology, and he specialized in human-computer interaction. He had as one of the first clients, like Aisha, right, to make UX. Back in the day, it was called human-computer interaction. And then in the world of startups, he joined Loquo early in the day as well. And you were in the early beginnings of Loquo. You accompanied them to actually selling to eBay. Then you founded Panoramio. Probably there was another company in between. I don't know about that. No other company. That's great. And you sold it to Google in 2007. Mm-hmm. Probably the Spanish startup with most impact worldwide, because if you see images on Google Maps, it's partly because of them, or a big part because of them. And the company, I think the project was shut down some months ago or a couple of years ago. So it stayed there for almost 10 years, which is not usual at Google. And now he joined forces with Nacho González Barros, co-founder of InfoJobs, Salir.com, Neurona, Niumba, and a lot of companies here in Barcelona. So you guys now do email tracking, right? Basically, right now you've got this plugin that does email tracking. Can you give the audience the pitch of what your company does?
So we are basically an email tracking company that offers the service through double checks inside Gmail. So when you start the extension, you see the double checks. One check, the email has been sent, 2 checks when the email has been read. And we integrate that inside Gmail. So you see it without any other integration, but inside your inbox. And then we provide related services like notifications, real-time notifications, link tracking. We have a dashboard. We provide extra services. And it's a very simple feature that's pretty useful for other people that use it to know when the email has been opened. It can be used both for productivity or for sales. Most of our growth, it's from people that use it for productivity, but actually the people that they are paying, they do it more for sales. So they get a real value of that.
Can you give an example of how salespeople are using your product?
Sure. Then you typically, a salesperson will send an email with a proposal to a potential customer, and then for them it's very important to know if the email has been opened or not. If the customer is not interested, normally they don't spend more time with that customer. They save a lot of time. And then if the customer opens the email, normally they take the chance to call right at that moment, because then they know the client is reading the email and then he's hot. And then he's not in the toilet or eating or wherever.
He might be in the toilet. I mean, I check
well, but if you are checking your email in the toilet, then you are ready to receive a call. Then.
No, actually, I wanted to ask, because you mentioned the whole thing with the double check. So it's something that we're going to be covering a little bit more into the interview, because it's good as a PR. But how well did that help you to explain the product in the early beginnings, where like raising money or going to sales?
In Spain, that's where we raise the money. We have WhatsApp, and WhatsApp had the double check from the very beginning. So we said always the WhatsApp double check for Gmail. So it's a very instant explanation. So everybody knew about the WhatsApp double check. So that for Gmail. Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. Because when it was it's actually the first email tracking service was this double check for WhatsApp. It's pretty common there. So it was easy to sell the idea, and then it was easy to talk to journalists and explain what Mailtrack did. If you talk about email tracking, it's more for insiders. So exactly what is email tracking exactly about? But the double check thing, at the end, like people understand much better the concept and the use than the technology. Email tracking at the end, afterwards, it's just the technology behind a service.
I was going to ask, so that we can give a little bit of context here, because when people talk about their companies, even more so in the startup world, it's very easy to say, yeah, we're the leaders in the market, we're so good, you should download our app, we've got so many users. But what are the key metrics that you can share with us so that we have a little bit of context of where you guys are right now?
So we have like 22,000 paying customers. That's a lot. We are a cheap product anyway, because basically we charge people because we insert a Mailtrack signature at the bottom of every email you send. Says send with Mailtrack, like send with my iPhone, but with Mailtrack, send with Mailtrack. And then you can remove that manually every email you send. But it's kind of boring, and for some people that they use it for sales, if they forget it, they may have trouble with the customers. Customers, they don't like to be tracked. So it's actually not nice. So if you want to remove that forever, then you pay, and then Mailtrack signature will not appear anymore. Then this is the reason to pay for Mailtrack. And it's a pretty cheap service, like €4 per month, 59 euros per year. 22,000 people, they pay for it. We have 700,000 active users, monthly active users, and then we have in total 2.5 million sign-ups. Actually, those are pretty decent figures. I mean, there are big startups that have less customers than us, like even unicorns, but of course they charge much more. We are a B2C company, so we cannot charge that much for the moment. We don't have a B2B sales approach, but we are very similar to Dropbox. We are B2C2B, so we infiltrate companies like LinkedIn. There are 300 people in LinkedIn using Mailtrack, at Google 200, at Randstad 900, in the American universities 1,000 people, in New York University, for example, using us. So, and then at a certain point, it will make sense to send someone there to say, hey, you want to pay for this service, and then, of course, the price will be much different. But for the moment, we don't want to go into that.
That's great. Before we go into the actual growth hacks, and I know all these people are waiting for the growth hacking tips, right? Let's go for the last question before that. Do you know how these companies are using you? So do you have any sort of understanding why are you inside LinkedIn or Randstad or this and that?
Well, you tell me that I shouldn't talk about virality, but because we have this signature, when people that they don't want to pay, they inside the company, when they see, they send themselves emails and they don't remove the signature because it's a colleague, so workmate. You don't care that much. It boosts your productivity. If you know when your colleague has read your email or not, if it's urgent or whatever is something important. So at the end, everybody inside the company, is the probability that gets an email with this signature, and then they ask to each other, and then they introduce to each other, and then they say, hey, I'm using Mailtrack. Oh, what's that?
So one of the first growth hacks that we're going to cover is this one, right? Actually, the signature that, if we understood better, is that you get it there in the freemium model, you get it for free, and you can manually remove it every time, but it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah,
so people pay for that.
Yeah, the hack is that since we are an extension, we inject JavaScript so we can do anything we want inside your Gmail 8 hours per day. So we don't do very bad things, but then to remove the signature, instead of removing manually, it's a piece of text.
Yeah.
We add a red button, a red X, that indicates press here to remove it. Yep. So everybody somehow understands that. So when you remove it, we display a pop-up and saying, hey, you want to remove it forever? Pay. So then the very first 2 weeks, you get very seldom this pop-up, but after 2 weeks, you get it always, you remove the signature. And then some people, they don't like it at all, but then they are not good customers for us. If they don't want to pay and they don't want to stand the advertising and they don't want to spend even the time to remove it, but it's a very clear, a fair deal. You pay or you get the advertising. You pay or you help us grow. So, and then most of the people, they have no trouble with that. And then the trick is this X button. When they told me about join Mailtrack, I was pretty excited because they are always the largest problem in any product, in any startup is growth at the very beginning and to get traction. I got invited to many startups at the very beginning, but the risk that doesn't work is pretty high. and if you are expecting a miraculous hack, you need to have something natural that belongs to the product. So anything strange will never work. It can be very simple as Mailtrack signature. I mean, it may be something very simple, like in Typeform, it's powered by Typeform.
Yeah.
It looks very, very modest thing, but it's really powerful because forms are done to be displayed for other people.
Yeah.
So it's a natural growth. In the signature, emails are made to be sent so other people may see it. And then that's the good thing about Mailtrack, and it did seduce me, that we have a natural growth system. Even one person using Mailtrack could bring other people. So you don't need anything crazy.
So this one in particular for me strikes me as the most creative in the sense that it had been invented before, but you're using it for growth because it becomes viral, but you also use it for sales because you upsell people, right? Was this intended?
Well, not really. We didn't know there was that much value in removing the signature, but then we realized that people wanted to pay to remove it. I mean, for us, it wasn't advertising. We saw it as send with your iPhone, send with iPhone or wherever, more like something there. But it took us some time to realize that after all, it was just the traditional model. With ads for free, no ads, you pay. You get it in WordPress, you get it in thousands of services that if you want to remove the advertising, you need to pay. And then we have been tuning the message to our customers, and then the message that reacts better is remove ads from your professional emails, because it's a kind of shame to have ads in your professional emails. So the professionals, they get it quickly. So if they want to remove it, they just pay.
I mean, you mentioned it very briefly, and you didn't go into much detail here, but some people leave the signature on purpose. Like, hey, I'm tracking you, so you better reply to that email.
Yeah, so that gave us the idea that we still don't do it. Like, we could have another business model that would be keeping the signature.
Yeah.
Charging for keeping the signature. Of course, we cannot do that.
Yeah.
But yes, it's true that some people, they want to scare the recipient of the email, so they know that they have been tracked. So please reply to me because I know you read my email. And then we had we made jokes about making a scary signature. Hey, you have been tracked. You better reply.
Some scary faces and
anything like that. Yeah. It could be something. There is an industry that people that they send emails that they are legally valid. I don't really know the concept.
Yeah.
But you for example, you don't pay your rent, and then someone gives you a warning. There is an industry of that. But this industry is based in two facts: the real legal value of that, and the scary value. We cannot give the legal one, but the scary one is pretty easy.
It's pretty easy.
So it's basically saying the recipient knows that the sender knows that you opened that email. We could display it. We still didn't develop that, but there is an idea for the future, of course.
Yeah, because you guys are monetizing B2C, which is the most complex thing ever, and actually doing well.
Why? But I don't think it's the most complex thing ever.
Well, I mean, to become profitable in the short run, for instance, right? But there seems to be that the B2B is much more easy to monetize and to actually...
Depending on your profile.
Exactly. You seem to like B2C. Why do you choose it?
Well, my profile is, my background is in psychology and in UX. So for me, it's somehow the easiest part. It's to create a good product.
Yeah.
So a good product tends to be possible to be sold. So you can sell a good product. But for B2B, the product sometimes is not that good, but it's something that matches the company needs. So you don't know that those needs because you don't know that you have no work in that industry and you don't know what the decision maker of that company really needs. It's hard for you to create a product that will help them. So even you think it's a good idea for companies, the decision maker might not see it like that.
Yeah.
So for me, it's really, really much easier to sell B2C products.
And how about going back to the signature? Because you said that you sort of accidentally found that this was working in both ways, growing and upselling people. What other things have you learned with the signature?
Yeah, the signature, well, it brings like 15% of our signups. And then, some people, from the very first moment, they see the signature and then they give up. Yeah. We need to check if we can do something about that because we want to recover those users. But our business model is based on that. Maybe we could give a version that, or like in the first week or the second week, no signature.
Yeah.
But sooner or later, it's going to be the moment that the signature appears. I don't know if it's going to be more painful or less painful.
With a scary pop-up, like the signature is coming.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
It's like music in the background, something
exactly.
like that. Probably we'll do some A/B testing to see how it works. The only actionable reason we can do something about that why people uninstall Mailtrack.
Have you actually A/B tested the results on that, different
No,
signatures?
no.
Or not
Well,
yet?
we did it with different signatures in the past when we first implemented the signature, and the one we have now is the most natural one, sent with Mailtrack.
Yeah, and
We could like be more explicit, like sent with email tracking service Mailtrack, kind of redundant.
Yeah.
Because of the name. So the name is kind of scary, so it's good for some things, but for other stuff. So with the name Mailtrack, it's clearly tracking the emails. On the other hand, some people, they hate it because it sounds like that. So we have been involved in issues in the States. CNN journalists that used Mailtrack. Do you remember this Donald Trump meme that he was hitting the CNN president or something like with the
WWF,
yeah. So then the journalist tried to know who was the author of that and used Mailtrack, and he was using Mailtrack. And then another Trump supporter realized it, and then he accused him of using phishing techniques through Mailtrack. That what is really impossible. Yeah. But who cares about the truth if you have a good story? So then it gave us some PR in the US. Yeah, like relatively relevant people were installing Mailtrack, and then even were reading our hub.
So that
to check if we really did
negative PR did help you to grow in users. Did you notice a peak on your installs?
Not really, not a big peak.
Yeah.
But in users, but in relevance probably yes.
Because you seem to have a large part of your user base is in the US. I mean,
yeah, it's like
why do you think it is that way when you started, first of all, in Spain, from like explaining a concept that is very, very rooted in Spain, like WhatsApp double check, that maybe back in the day it was not so popular in the US?
Well, there are several reasons, but I think the main one is the Chrome store. The Chrome store, where you have the extensions and the apps, this is a pretty misunderstood marketplace for extension for apps. I mean, first, extensions, very few people think about the extension like a business. It looks more like a feature. If you go there, the top 100, one third they are ad blockers, the other third they are VPN, blah, blah, blah things. Then the 20% are those people that they hijack your affiliates. They change your affiliates for other affiliates.
Oh wow!
To earn the money.
Yeah.
The Israelis are especially good at that. And you remember those toolbars that Softonic installed.
Yeah.
And then there is very few products, but it seems that it has a lot of traffic. We get daily 1.7 million impressions in the Chrome store. That means monthly 50,000 installs. So that's a lot of exposure. And then a lot of room to improve, actually. The Chrome store is pretty much used. But no one seems to take it very seriously, not even Google. The dashboard that offers to developers with some basic stats is totally wrong. It's not reliable.
Yeah.
And then you just add some keywords to your profile and optimize a little bit the images you display, and your install rate skyrockets. Pretty easy to make SEO for the Chrome store.
That would be the second hack, right? So the first one, the signature, you would say. The second one, in order, or maybe not in order of importance, but would be optimizing for the Chrome store because it's undervalued by people.
Yes, so very few people, they really compete there. So a lot of large companies that they offer a secondary service there too. So at the end, there is a lot of, it's a gap for you to publish an extension and to get installs. And if you create an extension, an app for iPhone, for the iOS, then you have to compete with a lot of people. You will get very few extensions for Android. But I think there is an opportunity in the Chrome extension, in the Chrome store.
Yeah, because it seems to me that most downloaded Chrome applications and all of that, they are either like Salesforce, HubSpot, and this and that, like really huge companies that they see this as a fraction of their income, and then products that are not real companies, right? So you start there with a real company. So how do you actually optimize the detailed views of the page for the Mailtrack extension? What are a few tips that you can give to the audience?
Yeah, so the few tips are like, they are very, very basic things because they don't have really any real page rank or similar. But they may have something. Basically, by writing 3 times Gmail inside my description, I got first when you search for Gmail.
Yeah.
As easy as that.
Great.
And so I wrote Gmail, email 3 times, and some other keywords. I was interested in appear in the first results.
Yeah.
And of course, we have a lot of installs, and then we have also very good reviews, like 6,000. It seems, but still we were not ranking in those concepts. Just by adding those keywords in our description in the Chrome store, we skyrocket, and also in the title. So we have email tracking for Gmail and inbox. This is the title of our extension. So it was relatively easy. And then for the results, when someone searches for something, for the search result inside the Chrome store. But then you also can appear as a related extension. So someone is watching any other extension and then they are like related products. So then to optimize, we just wrote like compatible with some competitors. And then, of course, if you write any competitor you have, imagine HubSpot sales. If someone searches for HubSpot sales, we will appear there too. So if you write any other keywords or very popular extensions, you may appear also in the first results or as related. And then if you, also another way to increase that was for increasing the exposure, but to increase the click-through rate, also the small thumbnails that you are allowed, that you choose to display there, that people see when you are listed, like in a grid. So then you need to explain very quickly with one image, what do you do? And the whole title, you cannot see it, so you only can see like 3-4 words of your title. So the keywords there are pretty important, and you can write text inside the image, of course. So far, we changed it, even the contrast. Our designer at the very beginning did something very fancy, but where the text didn't have very much contrast against the background, and then we increased the contrast, and then the 25% more stalls. And why? Because it has so many impressions. It's crazy. 1.7 million impressions daily we have there.
Did you actually A/B test also the images?
Yeah, actually, no. Today we started one. We changed the background color to red, to cherry red, to see if it's really bumps there.
Okay.
I will tell you in a week.
How about the text here? Did you A/B test it? Because it seems to me like you're optimizing for Google Chrome that looks like it operates like Google before it was Google, before there was PageRank, right? You put a lot of the keywords there, and then all of a sudden you're the first one.
Seems to. Yeah, it seems to. So basically at the end, it's like you just write the keywords, as in the very, very early times of the search engines, and where still meta keywords mattered, and then you just position yourself where you want to appear. So if someone is searching for extension for Gmail, you want to appear there. So we wrote the word Gmail in our title and in the description several times, like 4 or 5 times. And then we are interested in, we have the extension works also for Google Inbox, one of the few ones. So we added there too, very visible. Of course, the keywords as email tracking, as link tracking, trace, like every related keyword with that. Depending on your product, you can add the name of the competitors, as I mentioned before, or anything somehow related to.
That's good. You're actually also competing in the Google App Store. That is even more exclusive and more left behind.
Yeah, that's...
There are like 20 extensions there.
Well, no, there are more. You are talking about G Suite.
G Suite, yeah.
It changed the names several times, so it's kind of mess. No one knows what's that.
Probably.
So I don't know if these Google Apps for your domain. After was Google Apps, and then after is G Suite.
G Suite, yeah.
Technically, it's like apps for people that use G Suite, so for companies. So we also have a kind of app there that actually basically what it does is to install the extension. But it's not even a chance to position yourself. You cannot search by concepts. You need to search by the name of the extension. I don't really know how it works.
So you got to optimize for, on SEO, on Google. You got to optimize in each one of these markets, right? One of the other things we wanted to cover, because you said first hack is, the signature. The second hack is the optimizing for the Chrome extensions and so on. And the third one would be PR, because you mentioned it in the beginning, but I don't see how PR can be a
We had a very
hack.
good PR guy
Yeah.
So the first years, and then he helped a lot. But the truth is that not only for PR, but for also user experience, when you cannot explain your product in a very simple way with very few words and without any possible mistake, you have trouble with user experience, with playing the business model, and you, of course, will have trouble with PR. In our case, this WhatsApp double check for Gmail, everybody understood, and the journalists, they just love it. So whenever you approach a journalist with that approach, was the golden times of WhatsApp. But at that time, was kind of revolutionary, and they were sold to Facebook.
Yeah, you're right.
And then, so the journalists, they love to have something that, journalists, they are not especially educated people in technology.
Yeah.
So you need to talk their language. So the double check for WhatsApp was much more effective than email tracking.
It's an easy pitch, right?
Yeah, so they need that.
Yeah.
They need a sentence.
Yeah.
And then of course the title of the article was always the same, like double check or check marks, something with the checks.
Yeah.
This they got it.
You also got, I remember that at the very beginning you were using in the website, like, WhatsApp double check on your inbox, and then you removed it.
Yeah, well, of course, at a certain point you get popular, you get an email from WhatsApp
Wow.
cease and desist.
Is that a signal that you are crushing it? That was my question.
Yeah, it means that it's working so well that it reached WhatsApp. It's a problem, it's a nice problem to have. Don't worry if you have 2,000 installs, no one is going to send you an email.
Yeah, would you actually advise people here who are probably, I don't know, not a clone of Mailtraq, because you guys have no chance whatsoever, but if they are doing something similar, they can use somebody else's name?
Clones of Mailtraq.
Yeah, he showed me
even
one.
Even with the video.
With the same video they've got on the website. That was ridiculous.
The watch we have is a little bit different.
It's good. These guys, they created something. They created cloning, right?
Yeah, I remember just for fun, I sent them an email. Hey guys, what are you doing? But like very friendly.
And it's
we didn't copy you. We didn't copy you.
The name is Mailtrace. So it's like they changed 2 letters, actually, something like that. And no, but that would be some sort of advice. I mean, can you use somebody else's name, even if it's probably not legal, morally questionable, but until you receive that letter, is it okay?
Well, sure. I don't think it's really illegal to use the name for an explanation. If you will go to court, assuming you will have the money to go to court in the US.
WhatsApp has got money, yeah. WhatsApp has got money, yeah.
Yeah, but not us. So, but then they need to demonstrate that you are confusing customers. So it's not only that. It's like with brands and so on. If the name induces to confusion, then it's a problem. If it's not a problem. But of course, then if you are there a couple of years sending lawyers to the US, and the American lawyers are not cheap, so we didn't want to have any trouble because we were in the Chrome store. So it's no doubt that the time we got the email, we remove it.
What's the future of Mailtraq? Where are you guys headed to? What do you want to accomplish?
So we want to be somehow the analytics of the emails you send. So you know what happens in your website, but you don't know what happens with your emails, the emails you send. You don't have any analytics and all that helps you to be more productive. Of course, you have it for one-to-many emails. You have email marketing tools, but not for your own email sent from Gmail. So then for other people, they use that. They use their own email. They don't send mass emails. So then if we can help you providing those analytics. For the moment, we only we tell you who has opened the email and when. We tell you when your links have been clicked. That is very important information. And for salespeople, they value very much. If the email has been read many times, that's a very strong sign that the customer is interested. Yeah. But if a link has been clicked, the customer is really interested. So they spend even more time with this customer. If we could track attachments, that's even a better sign. If a customer opens the attachment, he is really interested.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of information you don't know about. And then also if the email has been replied or not, to help you with the follow-up. So there is a lot of information regarding your emails that we could tell you about and even send you notifications. Imagine we still don't do it. We tell you when an email has been, how many times has been opened. Imagine we send you a notification when an email has opened 5 times. It means has been forwarded to the rest of the company. So it means that you should spend a lot of time with this potential customer. And imagine a cold lead that suddenly came to life. It means you send an email 1 month ago, and then this person is reading that email. Oh, it means something about it. So it's time to try to work with that customer. So it's a lot of analytics about your email. You can think about that like as a Google Analytics for your sent emails that actually can help to boost your sales. For the moment, we are in the very beginning of this road, just offering the email tracking and the link tracking feature.
That's great. The last question is, if you were to go back in time and start a company again, that's I know it's a really cliche question, right? Everybody does that. If you went back in time to create Mailtraq again, would you use the same techniques or would you like to try something new?
No, it worked perfectly. Yeah, I mean, what's better? We are making 1 million at the end of this year.
Great.
So giving a SaaS service is basically based on software with 50% of our customers in the US. So it's like, can be better. It may have been faster. We are 4 years now. So I think it's pretty good. We have a bright future in front of us because we have a lot of customers. So it's a matter of giving them more value. And we already collected a lot of information. So we know what they consider value. So it's easy to increase the ARPU, the benefit, and the price of the product in the future to earn more money. We are in the moment when Google, when they bought Panoramio, like 6 months before, they came and they tried to acquire us. So they wanted to hire us and to close Panoramio. So then we were forced to think about that. Okay, how is to work for Google? They give you a kind of compensation, but of course it's not like a real acquisition. So we were thinking about that, checking the analytics, checking the roadmap, and then we realized that the value was not in the Panoramio at that moment, but in the know-how we had and in the customers. And then we decided to decline the acqui-hire. And then like 6 months later, they came back.
Yeah,
they were not angry. We thought they would be very angry.
They really wanted you. I mean, if you had Mailtraq, you would have seen like still opening those emails, like the rejection emails.
Yeah, I mean, they liked us from the very beginning, but I mean, you never know what your customers need. I mean, they say always, companies, they get acquired. They don't get sold. You can do very much to sell your company, but it needs to be someone that is interested in you. Yeah. So at that moment, Google needed our pictures for Google Earth. They had satellite pictures, very nice, but I mean, from satellite, you cannot see really very much a place. So they needed surface pictures, and we were the only providers. It matched. Who knows about Mailtraq if we match in the roadmap of someone or not? Yeah. Depends more on them than on us.
Have you received any kind of legal or customer that's angry about that? Are you tracking their emails?
Well, no, legal things not. Mailtraq helps you to do tracking, but it's you, the one that is tracking the recipient. So if the recipient doesn't like it, then it's a problem between you and the recipient somehow. Yeah. And the law actually, it's more affected by that. Yeah. So legally, it doesn't affect us directly. It may affect in the future if the legislation changes, but for the moment, we are protected somehow. And then, of course, depends on the country, will be a different one. Yeah, some people, they don't like the service, but the other day was a very popular entrepreneur, Mariano Martino, in Twitter. Yeah, and then the Bonilista, I don't know if you follow it, David Bonilla, he talked about that, saying, is that fear or not? I mean, but of course, then was always like, this angry tweet, the person that was putting the tweet was angry against people that was tracking him using Mailtraq, but I wasn't angry against Mailtraq.
Yeah, it would be like being angry against MailChimp.
Yeah, somehow like that. Yeah. But then I was having a discussion with him, a little bit like saying, okay, the post service offers this red receipt since 100 years ago.
Outlook, Microsoft Outlook.
Yeah, Outlook too. So it's a very old service. So first, it's a very old concept. Second, then it's true that when the postman comes to your home, and then you need to sign, so you know that you have been tracked. And in the case of Mailtraq, we don't provide that service. If you receive it and you don't want to sign, I mean, who is the evil there? I mean, you want to read it, who belongs to the email that I sent to you?
Yeah.
To you that received or to me that I sent it. From a technical perspective, it's opened in your computer, so somehow is your privacy there. But it's true that
I send
it to you. I have somehow the right to know if you have opened it.
Yeah.
Then, of course, like any technology, could be used to harass people, but it's like mobile phones. Because you have a mobile phone, you can be harassed at any time.
Yeah.
But doesn't mean that is a...
Exactly.
I mean, it depends how you use it. And then we even have a whitelist. So if someone really has trouble with that, we have a form that so you can add yourself, and then you cannot be tracked. I mean, it's like with the double check of WhatsApp. When they made it official, some people they got angry about, but how many people have you seen to disable it?
Yeah, not a lot.
Very
right?
few. I know a couple of people.
Most people are lazy, right? And they just like, well,
So first is laziness.
I don't understand
but
it.
it's really handy. I mean, someone also in this thread was saying, hey, I sent something to customers, and then I have trouble if they have not read the email.
Yeah.
Because it's important email. So if they have not read it, then I call them by phone.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like trying to sell only. It was for really like critical information.
Well,
I don't remember that guy was a kind of... So I mean, it's not only, the usefulness is not only to push sales, but to any kind of situation where to know if the email has been opened or not is relevant.
Yeah, think of, for instance, if you've got your gas installation home, and before email, they used to call you like, hey, you need to have this checked. And nowadays, they just send you an email. It's your problem if you read it or not, but it's your problem because your life might be at risk, right? They need to have this sort of tool.
It's very funny that in a city hall in Elche, 160 people use Mailtrack.
All right.
Yeah, it's one of the nicest discoveries.
Top customers.
And then I tried to talk to them, and then I sent some emails, and then they told us, I mean, it's pretty important for us to know if the citizen, they got the email, because also impacts the quality of our service and so on. So it was very fair, they did of the tool.
I was talking to a VC today, and they told me like, can I talk to them, because we need to have this sort of service in our company, because we're sending like the entrepreneurs like the term sheets and some contracts and requiring some reporting, this and that. So it's actually, we want to prevent entrepreneurs from going into legal trouble, right? So when are you going to start doing the B2B? That's the thing.
Yeah, we didn't think about that. I think we have still a long road.
Yeah.
It depends also how things evolve, because we still grow very much in B2C.
Yeah.
And then we monetize only a small part. I think we can monetize much better than we do, adding more value to the product. So it's not on the roadmap, and then I'm not this kind of profile that will move into B2B. So probably we'll need someone that help us into that. And then I don't know if at that moment it will make sense to me to be in the company or not.
Yeah.
But I think like I don't expect less than 2 years to move into that. But of course, I mean, we should prepare it before we see that's the path.
Where are your user space? 50% are in the US. How about the rest?
Yeah, it's like 50% in the US. I mean, the paying customers. Huh?
Yeah.
I'm talking about paying customers.
That's good.
And then it's like 30% rich countries, like
in
Western Europe, Japan, like with the highest income levels. And then like around 20% from the rest of the world. Like we have a very strong presence in India and Brazil. Okay. But of course, they don't monetize it that well. The largest country in customers nowadays is India.
What's the distribution from all the users, not only paying users?
Yeah, I would say like India just reached or is around to be the same numbers in the US.
Yeah.
And then the third one is Brazil. And then fourth one, maybe Spain, something like that.
No surprise in the top 10? Any surprise like San Marino
UK,
or something like that?
No, Andorra is not there. No,
I don't think they like to be tracked anyways, right?
Yeah, the UK, I think it's like same level than Spain. Yeah, it might be some kind of Asian country there, Indonesia, something like that. We are one of the very few free services, email tracking services that they are. This is another hack that they didn't say, because
which
it's
one?
not
This
really
is a bonus hack.
I mean, it's like, we are one of the few free email tracking services, and unlimited. So most of our competitors, 90%, or 95%, they limit the amount of track emails you can send monthly. Maybe 10, maybe 50, depends. So you cannot use it on daily basis. you only can check the service. Of course, that's very important to grow.
And in a lot of the tools that I use for email tracking, there are bigger tools with a lot of functionalities that they also do email tracking, right? But it's not their forte, and therefore they're not super specialized.
Yeah, we are somehow alone in that space, along with our clones.
Yeah.
Mail
trace.
Yeah, there are other services, like for example Boomerang, that they actually don't do email tracking, but they use email tracking technology to, for example, like Boomerang that email to your inbox again. For example, you can say, if this email has not been opened in 3 days, then Boomerang to my inbox. That's much more complex products. And actually, many customers, they use Mailtraq and Boomerang together, because we give, they don't give tracking for every single email. They just give associated services. Mm-hmm. So, and then some other like competitors like Strike, I know you know it, or Jesware, they are more like CRM oriented. We wouldn't want to move into that space because they add a lot of features inside your Gmail space. And so some people like to have a very simple UI, no one touches their Gmail.
So the simplicity comes because you studied human-computer interaction?
Well, no, not really. It wasn't my idea, the double-check thing. No, but I saw it as a very brilliant thing. It was one of the reasons why I joined Mailtraq.
Okay, maybe you want to have the last words to say why they should use Mailtraq, or some sort of advice for them, and thank them for coming.
So I just want to thank you for coming, and I hope that has been useful and interesting. And if you have any other questions, we are going to be around having some beers. Yeah. No, I mean, I think Mailtraq itself alone in that sense. I mean, it's a pretty simple thing. It's nothing to say wonderful. I mean, I created a kind of retention feature that was the reminders that when you have not read an email in 24 hours, we send you an email saying, warning you about that. So it's kind of insurance, because you may have trouble if one of your email hasn't been read after 24 hours.
So it's useful, because sometimes you just send a lot of emails. Some of them you don't care if they don't get replied, but that one needs to be replied. All right, thank you very much. Let's give him a big round of applause to Eduardo.
We are MarsBased, an all-remote consultancy from Barcelona, specializing in web and mobile development. We help all kinds of companies, from startups to big corporations, to conceptualize, design, and develop solutions for their business using technology. And now, how can we help you?